years ago, she pivoted from her corporate career to dive into the life of an entrepreneur, and she's been running fast ever since. Please welcome Melissa Grace.
Thank you so much, Suzanne, for that introduction. And yes, it's very true. As an entrepreneur, I am running very fast these days, but I'm so happy to be here with all of you and to talk about this very important topic of home maintenance. And I know it might not be a topic that you would really want to spend your lunch hour going over, but it's really important, and I'm glad you're here. And in my family, as Suzanne mentioned, we were a family of realtors. It would be bizarre not to talk about maintenance over the lunch hour or dinner or any kind of conversation. Growing up, I think I lived in at least 10 different homes by the time I was in high school. So it was really interesting to get to know small homes, large homes, homes that need maintenance with your yard or your pool, any number of different homes I've lived in, and we've had some degree of maintenance element associated with it. And before we get started, I just want to ask you a little bit of a strange question. Can you think of the most unique housewarming gift that you've ever received? For me, I had a housewarming party coincide with a baby shower because as a professional, I like to reduce complexity and maximize our efficiencies. So why not have those two events together? And while most people were bringing maybe a nice serving dish or a vase or something for the baby, my father came walking up to my husband and me, and he had, if you can imagine, a long wooden, looked like a long wooden stick. And on the end of it, it had a metal horseshoe. Maybe some of you are imagining what this is. And I want to say maybe there was a little bow on it, but what it was a weed whacker. So he brought us a weed whacker and he said to us very plainly, "Nice home, don't let it get away from you." And at the moment, this is 8 years ago, I didn't really quite know what he meant. But now after being a homeowner for 7 years and having some land and going through a whole myriad of things, I understand what it means to not let your home get away from you. And so today, let's talk about that. Let's talk about how we can maintain our homes. Let's talk about the current landscape of available services to you for maintaining your homes, or as Suzanne and I discussed, a lack thereof. Let's talk about, there might be some gaps, and do we have some solutions to help you as you age in place in your home? Because we know that according to the California Department of Aging, 2/3 of older adults would have been able to stay in their homes longer and have more independence in that home if they had made just a few modifications. And so we'll get into that in this seminar as well. So for now, I'm going to take my camera off so we can concentrate on the content. And let's start with our 3,000-foot view. And really for this presentation, let's define, what do we mean when we say home maintenance? And I'm going to be sharing my screen here shortly. Hopefully it works here. We tested it beforehand. Okay, I hope it doesn't make me a liar. Here we go. Okay.
Good to go.
Good to go. Okay, great. So let's kick off this call with a 3,000-foot view and define, what do we mean when we say home maintenance? What we mean is anything that is related to the physical upkeep of your property. So that could be interior, exterior, your yard. And don't these people look really happy here talking about home maintenance? This is kind of represents my family, since everybody's in real estate. We think it's a fabulous topic to talk about. And I hope by the end of this call, you'll be as excited about it as we are. So again, maintenance is anything defined by interior, exterior, or your yard. And since we've been in the real estate business for so long, we've been able to really cull this down into maintenance buckets. So what kind of maintenance can we experience? And in our opinion, there's really 4 buckets of maintenance experiences that you can have. We've all had an emergency, pipe has burst, we don't know what to do, we don't know who to call. And we define an emergency as anything that really needs to be taken care of within 24 hours. We are not messing around. So this could be a gas leak or a dangerous electrical fault, or maybe there's some damage to the structure of your home. In some cases, we've even had some security risks. So perhaps you have one of those automated doors and it no longer locks and you're left vulnerable. What do you do and who do you call? Do you know? We also have routine maintenance. So think about routine as anything related to reoccurring services each month. So your yard, your pool, bug spray, housekeeping, anything that's really kind of benign and routine. Then we have our planned improvements. And when we say planned, most of us think about remodeling a kitchen or maybe getting that deck in place that we've dreamed about for years. But I think we need to start talking about planned improvements to help us age in place. So how about we get rid of some of those stairs and put in a ramp? How about we really pay close attention to our entryways and understand if they are, if there's a zero lift, so that if we're in a position where perhaps our mobility has declined a little bit, we can still easily get in and out of our homes. And then we have our seasonal maintenance. And seasonal maintenance, I know it's kind of funny to say for Southern California. Some of you might be saying, well, we don't really have seasons here. You might be from the East Coast or even out of the country, but we still have things that we need to do every spring. Right now we should all be thinking about cleaning out the gutters, inspecting our roof, looking at your windows to check for any leaks or damages. Definitely should get your HVAC system looked at if you haven't done that in a while. So there are seasonal things. And if I could just ask you for a moment, as we look at this slide, if we replace the word home and put the word health in there, I bet I could ask you, if you had a health emergency, where do you go? And everybody on this call would know, here's my emergency room that I go to, here's the phone number. And if you don't, I would encourage you to stop this call and go find that out and make sure that you have that in your notes somewhere or your phone or whatever kind of record keeping you have. And again, if we said, do you know where to go for your health routine checkups? Likely you have a primary doctor that you see every few months or maybe biannually. And if you need a planned improvement for your body, like a hip replacement or any kind of surgery, that primary doctor is going to refer you to a slew of qualified, trusted professionals to treat you. So why is it when it comes to home maintenance, we don't have that kind of system? We have all of these things in place for how we live, but we don't necessarily have things in place for where we live, unless you happen to fall into one of these four categories. So what I'm showing here, all the way on the left, that is my pride and joy, Owen Milton Grace. He helps me at work a lot with our sister company, LiveSimpli, which is a property management company that has been in place for over about 4 decades. So within that family business, there's a common thread of maintenance throughout these provided professional services. So perhaps you are a real estate investor and you have traditional property management in play. You have tenants that if they have a problem, they have great maintenance perks. They can just call us. And if you happen to be a UCSD student listening to this and you are in fact a tenant, enjoy it. Enjoy your maintenance perks while you can, because once you get into home ownership, it's quite a different story. Even within the mobile home parks that we manage, there is a disparity in services for those who own their mobile homes and for those who rent. And we also have private estate management services. So perhaps you have a home that you live in part-time of the year, or maybe you're even out of state and you have a vacation family home that needs some care and some maintenance. We provide those services, but that is expensive and costly and for the very few, not for the masses. And the fourth bucket in our current landscape of professional services are the Airbnbs and the vacation rentals. So if you've ever experienced an Airbnb, you know that during your stay, something comes up, you can just call the landlord or the owner. So most of us don't fall into one of these four categories. So what do we do when we have maintenance needs, and especially as we age in place? It might look something like this. We're left to our own devices. I can't tell you how many times I've had this conversation with my husband about him wanting to do maintenance on our home himself versus a professional. And I love him dearly, but I'm still waiting on that fence. It's been about 3 years. We need to get a professional in here to do it. So if this is your experience as well, where you either have a partner that likes to do these things themselves, or maybe unfortunately that partner is no longer here, and you now have to be the person taking care of the home. Who do you call? Can you figure out who can do it right? You're kind of left to the mercy of Google. And at that point, you might experience something like this. You might get somebody to your home who presents well, looks great online, has great reviews. Maybe your kid's neighbor's brother's cousin recommended them, but when they get there, they really don't know what they're doing, and they're charging you every minute on the hour. There has to be a better way. There has to be a simpler way of helping us maintain our homes. And that's where this discussion with Suzanne really came into place. There is clearly a problem. We have a gap in professional maintenance services made available to the regular homeowner, seniors aging in place, and I would even wager folks that are in the sandwich generation like myself. You know, I'm in the sandwich generation because I still have young kids, but I have parents who are aging in place, and often if something goes wrong, they call me. Now, they're lucky because I'm a maintenance professional, but what if I wasn't? You know, what if I'm an accountant and mom is calling me about a plumbing issue? Wouldn't it be great to be able to hand her to somebody that really knows what they're doing? So after talking with Suzanne, here's what we really heard. Here's where we're having the maintenance service gap. If I hear all of you correctly, what we really want is to have one company, one call to reach out to whenever a maintenance problem arises. Because let's face it, if something is going wrong with your toilet or your electrical, the problem's there. It's already too late. You need to know who to call. And we also would really like to have somebody to call that we know has a vetted vendor network. And because my family has been in this business for 4+ decades, we're lucky that we have a deep Rolodex of vendors who are licensed, bonded, and insured, and who we trust, and most likely have either done work at my own home, or a family member's home, or a friend's home, or a client's home. We also heard that you really want someone who understands the desire to age in place. And this is where my wheels really got turning, and I got really curious to see what we could do here. Because that same father who told me, don't let the house get away from you, and gave me a weed whacker at our baby shower, unfortunately, a few years ago, lost his battle to cancer. And I had the honor of doing hospice for him at my home. And I wished I knew then what I knew now. Yes, you can make somebody comfortable, and when you're helping a loved one, that is your main priority. But there are some small home improvements that we could have done to make him even more comfortable and stay independent longer. So I understand that desire. And lastly, I heard from your members that there is a need for some total home care. Again, what if you are vacationing in Europe? Isn't that lovely during the summer? Or maybe you're gone for a month, or again, maybe you live out of state, but you have a family home in San Diego, but you really need somebody to watch. So given all of those asks, it really comes down to one of two things. Are we able to put together a maintenance program that would be like a monthly membership for you, that we could have add-on fees depending upon what kind of level of service and desire you want for your home? And I thought about this deeply, and I thought about our tool bag, if you will, and the answer to Suzanne was a resounding yes. Why not? Let's harness the power of the vetted vendor network that we already have, and our knowledge about repairs, because repairs touch every part of our property management business. Why not harness that and turn it into something that we could offer your members? And in a way, we have these services that we're offering to other people. We just want to curate them for you. So I'd like to share what we have developed. We have developed for your consideration a maintenance plan at 3 different levels. And these are really designed to work with any of your needs, and I'll take you through them. But I'd like to say, as I go through this, if you see something that's missing that you really want or that you really need, I am open to your feedback. You know, these are the 3 plans that we've come up with that we think make the most sense. We have members actively enjoying each of them at this time. But as my husband will say, the only thing better than 3 plans is maybe 4 plans. So please don't be shy. Go ahead and put your questions in the chat, and Suzanne and I will moderate that at the end. Our very first plan is what we call Contact. And this is a plan that is just contact us as you need it. Your home is in pretty good shape. You're not really looking to do any improvements at this moment, but you would like to have one company and one phone call whenever your maintenance needs arrive. I think this is really great at the basic level. And again, this is also great for anybody who's in that sandwich generation that wants to help mom and dad, or mom and mom, or dad and dad. So what do you get with this plan? So with this, you're going to get some coordination of your maintenance requests. This could be anything from plumbing to heating and cooling or major appliances. And you'll see on here too, this is our retail website pricing, but for UCSD, we want to give you no barriers to enter here. We want to make it available to everybody. So if you are interested, please make sure you use your special UCSD coupon. That is the actual coupon code, UCSD, and that will get you 10% off of onboarding and also 20% off of the monthly membership plan. So for you, Contact is $99. So let's talk about what you actually get with this plan and how it would work if you called us. Okay, so with LiveSimpli, we have a dedicated maintenance department. And what happens with us is you're going about your day, going about your business, and all of a sudden something happens and you have a maintenance issue. You can call us. We have a maintenance hotline number. It will be available to you 24/7, nights, weekends, holidays. You call one company, you let us know what's happening. And what we'll do with you is we'll help you diagnose the problem over the phone and also tell you, okay, the level of severity. And what we really want to do is, number one, my team knows that they have a mission to put human kindness back into maintenance. If you're calling us and there's a problem, you're likely a little stressed out. I think that would be fair to say, and maybe even some circumstances scared. So a little bit of kindness goes a long way. So know that you're going to get a kind person on the other end of the line. And our team will help you diagnose what's happening. And this is really important. We're not just going to send out a qualified vendor to your home and you'll get charged a trip charge and their time if we don't need to. If we can save you that time and money, we will, because oftentimes people call us and it's a matter of resetting a breaker, or it's a matter of if there's a dishwasher issue. You know, did you know that there's actually a food trap in your dishwasher? And sometimes that food trap needs to be cleared out. It's not really that your dishwasher has to fully be repaired or in some cases replaced. So diagnosing the level of severity and then helping you troubleshoot over the phone is paramount to our process and what our dedicated maintenance department is trained to do. If after following those steps, we can't solve it for you remotely, then what we do is we pair you with a qualified vendor. We ask you for up to 5 available times that this vendor could meet with you. We do all of the coordination on the back end to save you time and talk to the vendor and see when they can meet you. Once there's an agreed upon time, we dispatch them. Once the work is completed, it's very important to us to get your feedback. We want to know, were you happy with the service? Were they on time? Were they kind? Would you use them again? And this is important because we have this big Rolodex of vendors. And of course, it is a perk for those vendors to be working with us. So it keeps things competitive price-wise for you. And we don't use the cheapest vendors, but they're not the most expensive either. They're fair. They're what we would call fair market. And they want our business. And so we need to make sure that they are absolutely at the top of their game and have standards of excellence to meet your needs. Now, if you are someone that prefers to go the Amazon delivery or Grubhub route and you don't really want to talk to a live human, that's okay. You have access to an online portal. And so with our online portal, at any time, day or night, you can submit. We use a property software called Meld. So you'll see here on the top left, it says new Meld. Just think of that as a repair request. So you log into your online portal, you let us know what's happening. There's a couple of questions that are auto-populated for you that help us understand the problem at a glance. Most importantly, at the bottom, all the way over there under number 1 on the left, is are animals present? We really need to know if you have animals at your house and if they will be secured before sending out any vendors. In the middle, you'll see this is where we have your ability to choose different timeframes. Doesn't mean those are guaranteed, but we will certainly try. And all the way to the right, number 3, you'll get an alert that says, okay, you have submitted your request successfully. If you would like to add some more things like photos or anything like that, please do. This is an application that you can easily use from your phone. And during onboarding, we will show you how to do all of this. So again, our contact plan is really for those of you that just want to call us as needed and just think of us as kind of a helping hand and a bit of a lifeline whenever you need us. Okay. Our next level plan is what we call maintenance cruise control. Let's say you want a little bit more than just calling us when you need us. You would actually like us to coordinate all of your reoccurring monthly maintenance. So with this solution, you have the help you need when you need it, but you also have a partner that is taking over all the monthly maintenance needs. So no more coordinating with your landscaper, pool service person, housekeeping, the bug spray guy, whatever it is on a monthly basis that you have, we will either provide vendors to do those services for you, or if you're working with vendors that you know and love. Sometimes we get clients that say, oh, I've had the same lawn guy for 20 years and I really want to continue to use him. That's fine. We're happy to fold them into our list of vendors as long as they are licensed. That's the key. But we will work on coordinating the appointments with them, making sure that the quality control is in place. And also, this is important too, we take care of the billing. I know as we age in place, sometimes we would rather spend our time doing things other than paying bills. And so we will actually pay the vendors directly and provide you with one clear monthly billing statement for the cost of the maintenance for the month. And with this plan, we also set up your essential seasonal maintenance. So you've got something for my as needed, my monthly stuff, but also we look at the whole 12-month calendar and we evaluate your home and say, okay, twice a year we need to be doing X, 3 times a year we need to be doing X, and we put that on the calendar and we schedule that together and we will run that for you. How we kick off this service, it's very simple. You can give us a call. We will go to the next slide. We put together our onboarding checklist. So you confirm you would like this kind of maintenance solution. We sign an agreement. It takes maybe 5 minutes. And then we set up your online portal and schedule a kickoff call. During that kickoff call, it's our time to get to know you a little bit better. So we like to do it over Zoom. We ask that videos are on if everybody's okay with that, so that we can see your face. And we talk about your maintenance needs, at least what you think they are. And then we'll schedule a time to come to your home and do a home evaluation and take a look a little bit step further and see, are there any things here that we can look at as preventative? And if you are a senior aging in place, is there anything with your home that you would like to consider making some improvements on so that you can stay independent and be there longer? My entire team has been certified in senior home safety. So we can do, if you would like, a 250-point inspection on the safety of your home and offer that to you at the end of this visit. And you'll see here on this checklist, I know it looks like it takes about a month to get going, but honestly, this timeline is completely curated to your willingness to schedule things quickly with us, or if you want to take more time to do it, that's fine too. We can get up and running as fast or as slow as you like. Our third plan, this is really full scale. This is our Concierge total home care solution for those of you that are really looking for A to Z home care. This is where you will actually get a dedicated house manager. Think about it like you have somebody on your payroll, but they're not actually on your payroll, they're on mine. and we will set up some time to figure out what is the cadence of visits that you would like for your home. I have some clients that want us there every single week. Some want us there twice a month and some want us there monthly. It completely depends on you, your needs, and what your home really warrants as well. We developed my favorite thing, which is called a house playbook. So Suzanne mentioned that I spent the lion's share of my career in corporate America, and that is true. And that comes with a lot of Excel time. I love Excel. So I will come to your house and we will document every nook and cranny, every serial number of every appliance, your HVAC system, anything that could be touched with maintenance will be in this playbook. And I consider it a living, breathing document. Things change over time, so we're constantly updating it. But we want this playbook in place for your home so that we can run it for you efficiently and that you have peace of mind that your home is being taken care of. We will also do the aging in place home safety assessment that I mentioned, and there's also project management. And this can be anything from yesterday, I was at a client's home in La Jolla and we are kicking off 2 big projects. There's a boiler swap and our favorite subject, toilets. This home happens to have 8 toilets and we are replacing 7 of them. So I think I have a slide. Let me share. I'll show you these toilets. These are the toilets. So this may not be exciting to all of you, but I love breaking things down into a science and saying, okay, we have 7 toilets. So let's have a naming convention for each of them. Let's make sure that the spacing that we have for each of them is uniform. If it isn't, then we need to figure out different toilets for different rooms. And let's get this going and put this on the schedule. So this is kind of an example of how we project manage. This is, with my client's permission, an example of the beginning of a playbook for them. So you can see how detailed this is and the nitty-gritty that we get into. Yeah, okay. Go back here. So again, and with this package, it's really sky's the limit. We can do anything you like, from the smallest things to the biggest things. It just depends on what your needs are. And again, I would encourage everybody, if you do want to have these services as part of your life, make sure that when you sign up, use your UCSD code for those discounts. And at the end of the year with this plan, some of what my clients love the most is that we do an end of the year summary report. And that's where we show all of the costs of your property in and out, and we put it in this beautiful report and you just hand it to your accountant. And I think that accountants like that a lot. Okay, we looked at these slides. We'll even look at things for you because, again, we're very detail oriented. So this particular client wanted a toilet that had 1.6 gallons per flush, and we had to educate them that actually in California, we have a law that has a maximum of 1.28. I just put this in here again to show you the level of detail that we can go to on your behalf to help you with your home maintenance needs. So these are the 3 plans that we've put together. I'm very excited about them. We have people that are using them. It's amazing that once I started talking about this program, more and more people say, I've got that problem too. I don't know who to call. I don't know what to do. I'm not a maintenance professional. And I'm not a tenant, I'm a homeowner. And I would like some of the same maintenance perks that these tenants have. And I would like also to plan for aging in place. It's very interesting that we plan for a lot of other things. We plan for, that baby shower that I mentioned. You better believe I had every sharp corner taken care of. I had the right bed in there. I had everything that you would need to prepare for that life. And I think we should take some more time to prepare for staying in our homes as long as we would like. And with that, I will hand it back over to Suzanne to see if we have any questions.
Great, I'm sure we will. So thank you so much. Could you put back up the 3 levels, the 3 level slide, and just leave that one up, if you would?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there we go. So there were a couple of questions in the chat. Melissa, this was really helpful. So one of the questions was, with the contact plan, is the vendor pays through your company?
Yes. So I'm going to come back on screen for everybody here. You can look into my eyes. Oops. Yes. So with the vendor plan, we pay for the vendor. That the cost of the vendor is not included in your monthly membership. We facilitate that service. And then when the service is complete, the vendor bills us and we provide you with one bill. And what we do is a lot of our clients, we decide, okay, what is your comfort level with regular repairs? Most of them have we approve it up to $500. So if that's what we agree on, then we'll pay for things up to $500, then bill you. If it's a larger bill than $500, then we can work out what we call an owner contribution for you to kind of fund your account so that we can pay those vendors. And vendors really like it because we always pay them on time, and we pay them with automatic ACH. So they're not waiting for a physical check to come in the mail. It's online, it's secure, and it's fast. And so that's why we get a lot of buy-in from quality vendors, because they know that we pay our bills and we pay them consistently.
Melissa, related to that, you don't just keep a client credit card on file and then bill the credit card?
We have a client credit card on file for the monthly membership plan. And then if you actually have maintenance during that month, you will get billed for that maintenance. But we take care of paying our vendors first. It's part of our service to them. We want to make sure they get paid on time and quickly. And so we take care of that first. And then there's just one bill that you'll get. So you'll see in your statement, here is your monthly membership fee. And then here's the maintenance that you had that month. So it's all one bill, and you get charged one time with your credit card on file.
Okay. Great. And do any of these plans replace home warranty plans?
Ooh, that is a good question. We are in a battle with home warranty right now. If you asked me 3 years ago, I would espouse the greatness of home warranty and want everybody on this call to sign up for home warranty. Unfortunately, what we've experienced in the past 6 months, it is so difficult to get home warranty to do anything that they say they're going to cover. And then the length of time it takes to work with their preferred vendors, oftentimes your home is receiving secondary damage because it takes so long to actually schedule. So we are now in a place where we are recommending all of our clients, don't do the home warranty. Take your couple $100 a month and just put it in a fund in your own bank for repairs for a rainy day instead of home warranty. We're not seeing the value anymore. Of course, you could still have your home warranty, but we're just not seeing the value of having them anymore.
Okay, Ron Campnell, you have your hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm in Carmel Valley. We just had a power outage in the middle of this session, so I don't know if others have experienced that. I'm in a condo association, so some things are covered, like all of our external. We have what we consider common areas, like I've got a patio deck at my entrance and a back deck. Anything external to the walls is considered to be covered by our HOA. So, I have that going for me. Landscaping is covered by the HOA, but maybe like others, I'm in a situation where I have aging appliances and I'm trying to come to grips with, do I need to do a major remodel, or should I just replace individual appliances, like do a complete kitchen remodel or scale it down? So those are some thoughts I have that, part of this too is as you age, you'd like to age in place, but then circumstances come up that, well, would I like to find a second home somewhere closer to relatives? So how much time, would I actually be staying in my place in the future? So these are some things I think that might relate to the level. You have the 3 levels of maintenance, but I think one aspect that might appeal to me is if I were to transform my place into a part-time rental, that maybe something at a higher level might appeal. But I don't know if you have any comments on that. I think go ahead and then I'll follow.
Yeah, no, Ron, those are all great comments. We just onboarded a client yesterday for our sister company, LiveSimpli. He has a condo in Fashion Valley over by the mall. And it's the same situation. He has tenants that he has in there. So under LiveSimpli, we are providing professional property management for him, where we will find the tenants, we call it tenant acquisition. We'll retain them because we offer them maintenance solutions as well, and we collect the rent on his behalf. So we have a traditional property management solution in place outside of LiveSimpli via RentSimpli that we could do. But also, if you are a person that lives in a condo and you want some maintenance solutions while you're there, but you have that support from the HOA, that's great. That's great that they will cover A, B, C, and D. And what we could do is absorb that information into our files so that if you have a maintenance need and you call us, our files are going to say, oh, Ron has an HOA that covers A, B, C, and D. If it falls under this, we need to coordinate with the HOA to support him and get the repair done that he needs. So we can work with your HOA on that front. And we could also, during onboarding, talk to you about what your plans are for the home. Do you want to stay there long term? And we could offer you some advice. Whether you'll take it or not is up to you, but we could offer you some advice on, okay, if you want to turn this into a rental, maybe don't go get a bunch of fancy new appliances. It's really important that your appliances work, but they don't need to be top of the line and fancy. Unless you yourself are going to stay there longer, then sure, let's advise you on some things that you would personally want to be comfortable and stay there as long as possible. Does that answer your question, Ron?
Yes. Could you talk a little bit more about the onboarding process? Do you actually come out to do an assessment in person?
Yes, so for the contact plan, those are mainly more virtual, but if you would really like us to come out in person, and as long as you're comfortable with it, everybody has their own comfort level right now, we're more than happy to do that. When we get into getting to know your home a little bit more with crews and especially concierge, you definitely want to come and walk the property and be there face to face, and we'll put masks on, whatever your comfort level is, we're happy to do.
Okay, thank you.
We have a question from Jody Corey Bloom. Go ahead, Jody.
Hi, great. Thanks a lot, Melissa. This is really helpful. I guess I have a question as to whether or not you have, because of this vetted vendor list that you have, does it include things like painting? I mean, I get the whole repair thing and, appliances and electrical and plumbing and, that kind of thing, but how about painting?
Absolutely, Jody. Are you looking for a painter?
Yes. I was just trying to think of more other things, and I was kind of, extend the list a little bit in a while. So painting, and I was thinking not only landscaping, but like sprinklers and that kind of thing. I mean, could we get help with all of that?
Absolutely. You can get help with all of that. You could even I have an excellent faux painter as well. She'll come in and paint the carbon monoxide and, all the alarms to be the color of your walls. So we've got all of those vendors on our list to help you.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
it doesn't have to be, an emergency repair situation. It could just be a planned project that you want some coordination with. And we're happy to do that because, to be honest, unless you're doing it full time, it can turn into your full-time job. So we're happy to help take that off of your shoulders and shepherd that process.
Great. And then I guess the other question is a little bit harder, but if you're out and if you're away and if you're, out of town and that kind of thing, and these repairs and things are going on while you're not there, do you have a key? Is there someone who comes to the house and deals with these people, or do we just make sure we schedule it for a time when we're actually home?
Yeah, so if you're on, so it depends what plan you're on. If you're on the contact or the cruise, then you will be there to intercept the vendor. We're going to help assess, help troubleshoot, and then dispatch, but you'll be meeting the vendor. If you're on the concierge plan, yes, we have a key, and we have full access to the home unless you don't want us to, so for example, yesterday I was at one of our houses in La Jolla, and they have a fob system. It's very fancy, but I was there to meet, I think we had about 4 different vendors to kick off that project, and I'm really there onboarding them, reminding them, this is what we aligned on. This is our timeline. I'm taking a whole video of the home before, because I want to make sure that it is put back together exactly as it was before. So it's really a different level of service that we can provide. And, if that's something you are interested in, but maybe concierge isn't what you want year round, maybe there's a 4th plan in here somewhere that we need to come up with to give you that project management option maybe ad hoc as you need it, and we can align on a project rate or something like that, if that's kind of where you're going.
Yeah, I was trying to sort of figure, could you have a concierge plan for a couple of months to get some major projects done?
Ooh, I like that.
And then basically maybe float back to the maintenance cruise control plan,
Yes.
for part of the year. I just didn't know, like, how many months do you have to sign up for, for the concierge plan? Because I could see it being very, very helpful if you're really aggressively pursuing a couple of projects that need to be done. And then, perhaps another part of the year you would want more like a cruise control.
Absolutely. I think we could flex, because the way we design these plans as well, we are not locking you into an annual contract. These are, give us a 30-day notice. That's it. So we can flex up and down. I think we can absolutely do that. And we could come up with a custom plan for you too. So Jody, if you say, okay, Melissa, I know that I'm going to be gone during the summer and I have 5 plans. So for 3 months, I'd like the concierge plan. And then I want to flip back to cruise. No problem. We could do that.
That's great.
That's a great idea.
Sign me up, Melissa.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Well, that's my hope, is that this is going to appeal to a lot of our members. Okay, we have several questions in the chat. So Melissa, the first one, can you tell us how long you've been providing these services to individual seniors aging in place?
Oh, well, I'd have to give you the age of all of my clients. So I have personally been at the helm for 4 years now. So I used to do marketing in the corporate sector for a Fortune 500, which is now a Fortune 50. And after my father passed, I stepped into his shoes to take over the property management side of the business and rebrand it and systematize it and bring all of my corporate knowledge to really make sure that the operations on the back end were streamlined. So I have personally been in the business for 4 years, but my family has been providing these services for over 4 decades.
Okay, and next one, what about simple things like changing light bulbs, replacing batteries and smoke detectors, all of that kind of stuff?
Yes, I do think there is some room to talk about maybe a chore list. Maybe we can come up with something around, I really need 2 hours worth of handyman service. And in that 2 hours, I would like these 5 things done. We could coordinate that for you. We have wonderful handymen in our list of vendors. And again, I do want to be clear, I do not use the cheapest folks in town. That you often get what you pay for. So I use vendors, they have very fair pricing, but they're not the cheapest, they're not the most expensive. But I have already talked with them about, could we do kind of a chore list service? And we just need to be clear on what those services are, and if you're okay with the pricing. And then eventually, Suzanne, if this grows and gets really big, I would probably like to have an in-house person that could come and do light bulbs and things like that. That would be a LiveSimpli employee for the chore list specifically. And maybe say, oh, every so months you get, an hour or so of so-and-so's time. I think that is something I can do in the future as we scale.
Yeah. Can you help with yard issues like condition of sandstone bluffs and whether some trees are in danger of falling?
Yes, absolutely. So we've got vendors that can help with that. So what we could do is come assess your yard, talk about some of the difficulties that you may be having with it. We want to be respectful to the neighbors as well. We need to make sure that those are your trees, your bushes that you're asking us to trim. And we could come and assess it and talk about it and then get you a quote.
Okay. Hand up from Theresa. Go ahead, Theresa. Theresa Cheriskin. Unmute yourself, Theresa.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so thank you so much for giving this presentation today. The question that I had, the concierge plan is really complete, and it covers the case of someone who wants like routine maintenance to be continued, and they might be away for big blocks of time. But I guess what I'm wondering about is what would be your recommendation, say, for someone who they're basically living in their home most of the time, but now that they're retired, they can go away for bigger periods of time. They might go away for about a month, 1 or 2 times a year. And they don't necessarily need routine maintenance taken care of. Let's say they have a gardener who comes and is going to continue to come while they're away. But it's really more a question of, I suppose it's really more checking on the home, guarding against emergency things.
Kind of like a
And-
home watch service.
Yeah, so maybe that's really not kind of what's in mind here for these various services. But I know, do you have a recommendation, or could it be fit in somewhere with all of these?
I do. No, I think that's a great question. I mean, because a lot of what we're doing for our concierge clients right now, it is home watching. You know, there's unfortunately, there's in certain areas here in San Diego, there's increased crime rings that are happening. They are organized and they're hitting certain neighborhoods, and you can tell when somebody hasn't been there for a while. You know, we make sure we get the mail. We make sure we put the trash out on Mondays and then bring it back in. There's activity happening at the home. And so we could certainly come up, I think, almost like what Jody was saying. You know, she also had some big maintenance things that she wanted done, but there doesn't have to be, because the way that the cruise plan works, there's a base. As you saw, there was a base fee, and that gets you all of the monthly maintenance and the check-ins and things like that. But then if there are big projects that need to be done, we do that at an hourly rate, because some could be an hour, some could be 3 weeks worth of time. So if you would just like somebody to take care of your home while you're away and watch it per se, and make sure that the gardener comes and make sure that the pool guy comes, and also be on call for emergencies. So right now, my team, we have a decision tree for some of our clients. We're actually the first call if the alarm goes off. And that's really valuable if you're out of town, because, you know, you're out of town. What are you going to do if your alarm goes off? So you can hire us and we can watch your home for you in that regard. There doesn't have to be, you know, major renovation or repairs that are needed just to be on our concierge plan.
Okay. And so the monthly fee could be figured out based on kind of what's required. And
exactly.
Then,
and that's
and if
why
a pipe bursts while you're gone or something, and that needs to be taken care of, then that's part of the, you know, the added.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I priced it strategically. I talked to a lot of people, and there are some companies that honestly, if you Google and try and find services like that, most of them, I'll be honest, they start around 100K for something like this. And I just think that's silly. I would rather say, I know what my operating costs are to come to your home, whatever the cadence is, if it's weekly, bi-monthly, or monthly, and I know what my costs are to pay all of the vendors and do the back end and all of that. So I try to keep what we call the retainer fairly low, so that if there aren't any big emergencies or projects, you're not paying for that. But if there are, and it does require our bandwidth and our time, then yes, you know, we're compensated. So it's really fair for our clients, and it's worked out really well so far. And what we would do is come to your home, and we need to know how large is the home, how many touch points are there. You know, we have some homes that have ponds and fountains and an HVAC system like a museum, and we have some homes that are more like my house and they're regular, and there's different price points because there's a different touch level that's required to watch those and be really the caretaker of those homes while you're away.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you.
Next question from the chat. Would you offer a home evaluation like in cruise as a standalone one-time service if we had the contact plan?
Absolutely, no problem. I would love to do that. That's not a problem.
Okay. And do you have vendors who install flooring?
Yes, we do. What kind of flooring would you like? Tile, wood, vinyl?
Okay. And I have a question. So if you're on contact, say you just want, you know, the service level of contact, but you are interested in thinking about maybe it's time to put in a few bars in the bathroom or going down to the garage or something like that, can you come in and do an evaluation for just that sort of project without moving up necessarily to another level of service?
Sure. Yes, we could do that. That's no problem.
Yeah. Okay, Ron, hand up again. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know a lot of us with the increase in SDG&E bills are looking at energy conservation projects that we could do in our home, like new windows, or doing things to, you know, putting in money to lower our bills. Is that something you're involved with at all, that you have energy efficiency consultants or Is that
We
something you
do.
might be interested in?
Yes, I would love to get further into that. And I really like to try and at least pilot things out on my own home so that I have a good, I mean, I've had an awful experience with door installation. I won't mention the company, but I really like to, if I can, pilot things out in my own home first to make sure that I would actually recommend this to another person, especially, you know, our seniors aging in place. So we have experience with installation of solar and energy efficient windows. So I do have some good vendors that I could recommend. And of course, we would partner with you to coordinate that on your behalf. And that's part of our plan.
Okay, yeah, I think that's going to be something that either could be something standalone for you, you know, once you get those kind of contacts, or you could meld it into one of the levels.
Yeah.
I think like an initial energy conservation review of the place might be worthwhile for people, just to get an idea of pros and cons of doing projects and if it would be financially viable, you know, depending on what's recommended. But I could see that as part of your business too.
Yeah, that's a good point, Ron. Maybe what we could do is during a home evaluation, or if we're doing a senior home safety assessment, we could ask you, you know, how are your bills lately with your utilities? And maybe during that call, we could identify some places where you could increase your energy efficiency, and then come back to you with, okay, we found these things. Here's how much they cost. Here's how much it will cost to actually install them as well. Given those two costs, does it make sense? Or should we just keep, you know, your bills where they're at? We could do that. Why not? I don't see why we couldn't.
Or there could be things that, you know, would be low cost, like ceiling fans, or, you know, lower cost solutions too, that might be
even weather
attractive to
stripping.
people.
You know,
Right.
sorry to cut you off, but part of the home I was at yesterday, you know, it's April, so every year we do annual preventative maintenance for this particular client. And so I have the original builder who's helping us. I have them checking all the weather stripping, because we don't want things leaking through. That could be a you know, an increase in your cost as well. So some simple things like that we can check for.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Thank you.
Members, any more questions? Okay, Melissa, hearing none, I want to thank you. I think this has been really excellent. Really lots of information, and I'm very excited about getting this launched. I spent a long time 2 years ago hunting around for a company, and I'm just glad that by word of mouth, that need got back to you, and that you came up with this. And I do want to make sure that all of our members understand, Melissa, the company LiveSimpli is a DBA, simply because her other company was RentSimpli, and where she's been doing this property management, correct me if I'm wrong, Melissa, but you've been doing it for rentals that you manage. And then when you and I were talking about developing this as a standalone program, you thought it would be a good idea to have a DBA that expressed the name, you know, expressed really a little better what services we're looking at. But you're not a new company.
No, yes, and thank you for that distinction, Suzanne. So really, Suzanne gave me the push to get the DBA together, because we have clients under our sister company RentSimpli at the concierge level and at the cruise and contact, just under different names. But my contracts were RentSimpli, and it just really didn't make sense. It didn't speak to the spirit of the service. I just, you know, when you're a business owner, I'm running fast, I'm doing the business, and not necessarily working on the branding or the website or things like that. And with my conversation with Suzanne, I have to thank you, because you are why I got my act together. Like, okay, we really need a DBA that speaks to this service. So LiveSimpli currently is a DBA of RentSimpli, but I do think, based on the response that I've gotten with it, and every time I talk to somebody, there's somebody else that wants the service, I think I am going to go ahead and incorporate it, because I think it is going to be valuable and help a lot of people. So it may only be a DBA for a few more weeks.
All right, there was one more question in the chat. How many employees does your company have? Maybe you could give us not only employees, but say how many vendors are in your vendor Rolodex?
Oh gosh, okay, well, we service just under 200 homes. Full-time, I have 5 employees right now. We're all women, sorry men. We are a woman-owned company at this point. Vendors, oh, I don't know, I probably have at least 100 in our Rolodex any given day. I mean, there's so many, maybe even more than that, because there's little intricacies that we have too, that we do, like a faux painter, or I have a plant specialist on hand for those of us that have beautiful plants in their home and we want them maintained. So yeah, I would say at least 100 vendors that we have, if that helps.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I think this is really exciting. I am so pleased that you responded. I really was knocking my head against the wall for a couple of years trying to find somebody, and you are just what I was looking for. So thank you so very much. There is one last question. What geographic area do you cover? I think
yes.
it's pretty broad, right?
We're San Diego up to LA, really heavily concentrated, really San Diego and the Temecula, Murrieta, Riverside area. And then we do have some communities that we manage up in LA, because the technology that I have in place, it's really great. It allows us to work all over the place. And in fact, we've even expanded to Kokomo, Indiana. You laugh, but it's a great place for investments. So we have a little branch in Kokomo with about 10 properties that we're managing over there. And then we're looking also to potentially go live in Denver, Colorado as well.
Very exciting. And when you say San Diego, that's all parts, right?
Oh,
Downtown,
yes.
South Bay, East County.
Yes.
Yeah, North County.
We don't discriminate. We love all of San Diego. So we do service all of San Diego.
Terrific. All right. Well, thank you very, very much, Melissa. This has really been helpful.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I hope to hear from some of you soon. If you want, you can call us anytime or email us at the contact on the screen. And I really look forward to hopefully getting to know some of you.
And members, I will be posting this to our YouTube channel. So if you have friends, other members outside of the RA as well, this is going to be open. I mean, this is a special offering for Retirement and Emeriti Association members, but it's available for all. So you're welcome to share that link to the YouTube video once I post it. Thank you all very much and have a wonderful afternoon. Take care.